Well, all right! Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios. Crystal Durant here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios.
What up, son?
Tommy Von Voigt here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios. You hanging out with us here in the world famous As It Should Be Studios because you want to see us discuss our favorite albums of 2017.
That's right, you do.
Yeah. Yeah, some
Yes.
of you more than others, but you know, what are we going to do?
You do, you do, you do, you do, you do.
Well, you know what, Crystal?
Yes. Oh,
What
wait.
say you start?
Oh, my goodness. Bloody hell, I start. All right. Let's see. Where's the album?
I can always go for a crystal lift.
Can you list on?
I make a
List
I gotta,
Hi, my name is Crystal, and I have
I
a
have my
list.
list. I'm a Gemini.
And I like ties.
And I like
and I like
ties.
runners
Honorable
up.
mentions.
I like
Crystal.
Ties and Purple Rain and Pink Floyd, and I like to listen to these records. As a matter of fact, that's what's on my list for this year. No,
For
I'm just kidding.
2017.
2017, coming in at number 10, it is Dark Side of the Moon.
Your
No.
favorite album of 2017.
I'm just
Hey, dude,
kidding.
what an unbelievable ultimate asshole move that would be.
I should have done it. I should have
Yet you
done
wouldn't
it.
be wrong.
Just what a flex.
Yeah, I wouldn't be wrong. That's right.
Because that is an all-time album. It deserves to be on the list of every year.
This is true. This is true. All right, so I have four. I have 4 albums for this.
I don't
Do
know.
I? Yeah, I guess
Do you?
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Do you have for?
I do. Do you want my list?
I do. I
You need it. All right, so coming in at number 4, I think Tommy will like this. I have Foxygens. Hang. Do you like them, Foxygen?
Do you like them?
Never heard of them.
Really?
Oh, really?
No.
I think you would like them.
You would like them. They're Tommy.
Yeah.
Okay.
All over.
I'll have to check this shit out. Is this Tommy Core?
It is
Potentially.
potentially Tommy Core.
It's a wing of Tommy Core.
Yeah.
I think you. In fact, no, she's not wrong. Every time I see that name, I think, oh, I bet Tommy will have that on his list.
Automatically, it has you all over it. Yeah.
Foxygens?
Foxygen.
I'm going to listen to them as I leave the studio today.
Yeah, check them out. I mean,
We could be wrong. We could. No. I mean, maybe
oh
he won't
yeah,
like.
yeah,
Maybe
we
he
could
won't
be.
like it.
We could
but-
be, but I just feel as though you would like it.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, just the name Foxygen.
I'm going to check it out.
Come on,
I'm checking it out.
Yeah, they sound like what you think they would sound like, and I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. They're Foxy and non-Gin.
Exactly. Yes. Coming in at number 3, I got another RuPaul album.
Oh shit.
Which is American, as in I'm an American. And the 2 big songs off of that are Call Me Mother and Kitty Girl. I love Kitty Girl. Kitty Girl.
I don't know. I've never heard it.
It's RuPaul dance music. It's great. I can't go dancing anymore because I have arthritis, but I love to listen to this music and shimmy in my chair. Coming in at number 2, I have Sun Ra and his orchestra, Thunder of the Gods. Now, I know that he can be very difficult for a lot of people. People who don't like Captain Beefheart, people who don't like Frank Zappa. He is of that ilk, but not exactly the same. And the first side of this record is a 23-minute portion of a performance that he did here in New York City that was at Slug Saloon, where the orchestra held an 18-month residency. And I saw 2 of these shows. I don't want to say against my better judgment. I just had to see. I mean, I'd seen him live before, but I was like, in New York for 10,000 days? Like, how am I not going to go see this?
Why would you not go? Yeah.
Why would I not go?
Yeah.
And of course, I went by myself because nobody else would go. and it's Sun Ra. It's Sun Ra.
I didn't know he had stuff this late.
Yeah, still chugging along. He's Methuselah, but is still making records. And the other 2 things on the album are mono stereo recordings taken from the same time period as Strange Strings album. So the Strange Strings record, which is very Frank Zappa-esque if you think about it. So he took musicians, a gaggle of musicians, you play drums, you play guitar, he plays horn, whatever, and everybody got a stringed instrument that they did not know how to play. And then he was just like, turn on the thing, just go. And everybody just played how they thought it should be played and what they could. And
So they got Trapmus Replica, like
exactly.
you were saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it was not bad. But didn't tell them how to play or what to play, and so it was like scritching and scratching and clattering and banging and plucking and just Complete insanity.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah.
I'm snapping my fingers already.
There hasn't been a thing you've described this so
I know.
far.
I know.
Well, you're doing the wrong list first.
You would, if you dare to listen to this, or if you're a fan of Sun Ra, you know you're gonna like the first side better than the second side, because the first side is somewhat cohesive. Second side is all this crazy noise. So there's that. And then coming in at number 1, this is a very short list, is Adios by Glenn Campbell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So we saw him, what was it, like 6 months before he died? 3 months before
Not
he
that
died?
long. And we saw him at Carnegie Hall.
And it was amazing and extremely sad, because he was way on the decline with his dementia. And Alzheimer's, and his son and daughter, like all his kids
His son
were the
and daughter
band.
were on stage with him.
And you could see his wife. I don't know if you could see it, but his wife was in the wings.
Yeah.
Like, encouraging him, and he had the lyrics in front of him, and his voice was like butter.
He sounded great.
Exactly the same.
His guitar playing, spot on.
Spot on.
Spot on.
So his family held him up. So it was like, okay, his next song is Wichita Lineman. And he's like, I'd like to tell you a story about this song, blah, blah, blah. And he'd go into a little story, and he'd repeat himself, and then he'd repeat himself. And then
Or he'd kind of like go off
on
like
this
veer off into like
something crazy. And then the daughter's like, come on, Daddy, come on, let's
Or
play
he'd
the
start
song.
walking away from the mic and like, no, we're going to go over here.
Come on, and pull him back. I bawled my eyes out through that whole show, because we're literally watching his brain deteriorate right in front of us.
our eyes.
It's so horrible.
It was
But the minute the music began,
And-
boom, he was there.
completely
Totally there.
lucid, like
Yeah.
nothing was different.
Yeah.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. It was
It's so
brilliant.
sad. That's so sad.
This record, he died 2 months after it came out. And that last tour, that was 2011 to 2012. So this is 11 songs that he loved but never recorded. So it's a bunch of covers. So he worked with Carl Jackson and Willie Nelson and Vince Gill and his kids, Ashley, Shannon, and Cal. They made guest appearances. And according to Carl Jackson, he had to stand with Campbell in the recording booth to record the vocals line by line, because he couldn't remember anything. And it took a long time to get through this, but it worked. And Jackson noted that he didn't lose his melodies and that beautiful, perfect pitch and tone. So he did Everybody's Talkin' by Fred Neil, Funny How Time Slips Away by Willie Nelson, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right by Bob Dylan, which is really good, and A Thing Called Love by Jerry Reed, and a bunch of other songs. It's a beautiful, beautiful end-of-life record, and if you're a Glenn Campbell fan, you should have this record. It's really a great send-off for him. And other stuff I read about it, that when they were recording it, his wife was like, this is the last record he's ever gonna make. Like he's not much longer for this world. And she was right 2 months later.
Well, obviously it was known. The album's called Adios.
Yeah. And that, because originally it wasn't gonna have that name, and then she was like, no, this is it, so we better take, and it's beautiful and brilliant. But yeah, seeing that in front of my face, I've never seen anything like it.
It was pretty crazy, and again, the stark contrast between how he was between songs and how the minute the music began, Glenn Campbell was in the building,
Right there.
totally there.
Yeah.
When he had to actually speak to the audience, he could see it. You could see it in his body language. He didn't know what the fuck to do.
Where he was.
What was going on.
Confused.
Song began, boom,
Boom.
there he is.
He was in.
There's Glenn Campbell.
And
Yeah.
I was lucky that my mother was a big country and western fan, which I've talked about before. And I saw Glenn Campbell a bunch of times in the 70s and the 80s, and it was just like that. Like nothing had changed, not one thing had changed, and the voice was just stunning. And I don't know if you noticed, but everybody was crying through the whole thing. It was just like fucking A, man.
God damn.
It was wild, yeah.
Yeah.
But get that record. It's good.
All right.
That's my list.
All right. Well, let's see what we got for 2017 commercials here. See you in a minute.
So let's just say you browsed Indeed's 16 million job listings and found a great new job working as a music teacher. Now what do? You celebrate.
All right. Well, I am going to discuss my favorite albums of 2017.
How many you got, Paul?
Well, let's see. How do I? It looks like I have 10,
How
he
the
doing
fuck is he
this?
doing this?
and I have 2 honorable mentions.
This motherfucker is just
But before I
making
get to my
artists
honorable
up at this
mentions,
point.
I don't believe half of this stuff.
They're not
I'm
even
making it
fucking
all up.
real albums, man.
Yeah.
making all this shit up.
Here.
Well, before I get to honorable mentions, I want to bring in one fun fact, and you knew this because you might know this too. I mean, if you're going through these lists, Omar Rodriguez Lopez of Mars Volta put out 9 albums this year.
Yeah.
I'm going through the list, and every fucking 3 albums it was him. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was crazy.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, but my 2 honorable mentions: The Clientele with Music for the Age of Miracles, atmospheric indie pop, and Glenn Campbell with Adios.
Beautiful.
Now, now onto my list. And coming in number 10, Derek Anderson with an album called A World of My Own.
Really?
Do you know who Derek Anderson is?
You told me about him.
Derek Anderson. Okay, well, Derek Anderson is a LA musician. He's a bass player, and he's from Toledo, but he moved to LA so long. Like, he's probably lived in LA longer than he ever lived in Toledo. Kind of a thing. And he made this really great. It's a power pop record. But he's played with a gazillion people. He's been in Dave Davies' band. He's been in the Bangles. He's been in the Smithereens. He finally put out a record of his own, and it's pretty Smithereenish and early Bangles-ish. And in fact, the second song on the album is a song called "Waiting for You," and I'm listening to it. I'm going, this just sounds like a Smithereens outtake. Like this literally just sounds like the Smith. Like, even his voice. And then I look at the credits. It's him fronting the Smithereens. All the Smithereens are backing him on that song.
That's crazy.
And who else is in on this album? Matthew Sweet's on a track. Kim Shattuck from the Muffs. The Bangles are on it. The Cowsills are on it. A couple of tracks were mixed by Ed Stasium.
Okay.
Eddie!
Yeah. Now, Derek is the partner of our friend Jim.
Yes.
Our friend Jim, who watches these videos and well, he doesn't comment on the videos. He comments to me sometimes.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
and I was just in LA. I was just talking about him because I was in LA and I was hanging out
Jim
with Jim.
Laspisa.
Jim Laspisa. Shout out to Jim Laspisa and to Derek. Jim Laspisa is also one of those guys. He's a drummer. Derek's a bassist. Jim's a drummer. And they're a couple. I'm like,
well, that's perfect.
yeah, how'd you manage that? Like, they're a rhythm section.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's just perfect.
Yeah.
But and Jim also has played with Dave Davies, and his most recent gig is playing with Brian Wilson. He does those kind of gigs. He's also been, I think he's done Bangles gigs as well. But yeah, so they're kind of like this really great little power couple of
Power pop.
power pop in LA. And great album. All right, number 9, The War on Drugs, with an album called A Deeper Understanding.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, it's more that indie psychedelic synth pop band kind of stuff from Philly.
Yes.
Yeah, you would know because they're from Philly.
Yeah.
And they were formed in 2005, and the thing is, it does have that 80s sort of synth sound, but it was produced with the 70s warmth. And that's a lot of the stuff that I like that I describe this way. That's kind of the key thing, is that it has the synthy kind of thing, but the sound of the production has 70s warmth to it.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of making me like the tracks, I think. But anyway, so my number 8, Pugwash.
Yeah.
With Silver Lake.
They're back!
They're back! And, it's just another Pugwash album. Pugwash is kind of one of those, but you know what you're getting. There's no disappointments. If you like what they do,
You're gonna like
you're
it.
good.
I like that cover. That's cute.
Okay. Number 7, a group called Nightlands, and this is an album called I Feel the Night Around Me. What's to say here? It's the side project of a guy named Dave Hartley, who was the bassist of War on Drugs. And, but, another modern, dreamy synth pop record that I like. So my number 6, Steve McDonald
This is Red Cross.
Oh, yes. Steve McDonald is one of the two brothers from Red Cross. Well, okay.
This is stealth Paulcore is what this is. You're sneaking Paulcore in.
Yes, indeed. Well, see, Steve McDonald joined the Melvins, however, 10 or so years ago on bass. And back in the 90s, the Melvins did... There were 3 members of the band. I think it was 3 or 4. There were 3. And they did EPs, solo EPs, that were done like the Kiss solo albums. They even had covers painted just like the Kiss solo albums, but it's of the Melvins members. Like the main guy got to be Gene with the blood dripping down, King Buzzo. Well, when Steve joined the band about 10 or so years ago, he did a Melvins EP. Well, he didn't do it then. He did it in 2017. And this is his Melvins EP. So it's Steve McDonald, the Melvins EP. It's
fabulous.
Fucking great. In fact, one of the songs on this record, they ended up lifting for the next Red Cross album.
Oh, word?
Yeah, they just put it straight up. It's a Sparks cover that he did on this, that they just put on the next Red Cross album. It's a later one. It's from the 80s. What's it called? When Do I Get to Sing My Way?
I don't know that one.
When do I get to sing my way?
Yeah.
Well, anyway. All right, so Steve McDonald EP, hideously rare. It's hideous. I don't have it. I don't. It's impossible to get. It literally existed for sale at one show, and it was like $75 then. It was just one of those things where like, okay, I'm just never gonna have that. But I have the MP3s. All right, so number 5. A guy named Dent May, Across the Multiverse. And, indie synth pop artist from Jackson, Mississippi, now based in LA, making these
His first name is Dent?
Dent, D-E-N-T.
Okay.
Yes. Dent May. No relation to Brian. In any way. But yeah, the opening track on that is a song called Hello Cruel World that I fucking love. Anyway, so number 4.
What's he gonna do?
Classic 78!
Oh, yes, that's right.
Classic 78! Oh man, okay, if you don't know about this...
Tell him about it, Paul.
Well, if you're a Kiss fan, you know about this. But for people who are casual with Kiss or don't really know much about Kiss... Classic 78 are these guys up, I think they're up in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And they write and record original songs that are exactly in the style of 70s Kiss. Like pre-Dynasty Kiss. There's stuff on this straight off of Dressed to Kill or Rock and Roll Over kind of stuff. Some of the songwriting isn't quite there, but some of it really is. There's a song on this called World on Fire that's like, fuck. It's one of the best Paul Stanley songs ever. But they got a guy who sounds just like Paul Stanley to sing on the... You've listened to this. They got a guy who sounds just like Paul Stanley. Now, the drums don't quite sound like the recordings, but outside of that, they got the sound of the recordings down, the vibe, the kind of clunky sort of vibe of the Gene tracks, and the guy doing the Gene vocals has him down. They have the same guy, I think, does Gene as does Ace. It's the same guy. The Peter songs, they only have one per release. Those don't hit quite as well, but all the other ones...
Just like an actual Peter song.
yeah, exactly. Kind of like actual Peter songs. They don't quite hit.
Yeah.
Well, now, they put out 2 EPs initially. The first one was a 5-track EP called Side 1. The second one was a 5-track EP called Side 2. This is the 2 collected as Side 1 and Side 2 of an album. So that's what this is. And then they later on, a couple of years later, put out an actual proper full album. But I really love this. There are songs in this that I fucking love. World on Fire, Jendel, which is an Ace song about the fictional planet that his character supposedly came from.
It's uncanny listening to this because there are times when you're like, wait, this can't. How are they getting so close?
Kiss themselves, no matter how hard they try, could not make a record that sounds as much like Kiss as this does. now they could.
Yeah, if your window for Kiss is 74 to 78. You really actually ought to check out.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is really stunning. Again, you might go into it and think some of the songs aren't up to snuff. Some of them aren't as good, but some of them really are, and every one of them sound like, wow, this isn't them? It's crazy. And also kind of in a way, I think of it as being like the Ruddles of Kiss.
Right.
It's kind of the Ruddles of Kiss. But anyway, yeah.
Except nobody explodes.
Classic 78. All right. I originally had that up higher on my list, but what I have at number 3 here is the return of Brent Cash with an album called The New High. Now, I sort of indicated earlier when I was talking about his second album that there was better stuff to come. This album, this is the best and his most recent album. It's his most sophisticated album. The chord changes on Out for Blood are just devastating. And it's a song called I'm Looking Up, sounds straight off an early Carole King album, early 70s Carole King album. Yeah, I really love it. My number 2. Now, this album, I actually originally had at number 1, but I went kind of back and forth between that and the one I actually have at number 1, and I just had to bump this down to number 2. But man, Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings with Soul of a Woman. Now, this is the last album that Sharon Jones recorded while she was still living. Like, she recorded this as a new album while she was still with us, but she died before it came out. She died in I think I have it. She died in November 2016. She suffered a stroke while watching the election results.
How about them?
Literally, she was watching the numbers of the and had a stroke right there. Because she had been dealing with cancer, and she had come out of it, and then it came back, and she was getting treated again, but then she sat there that night watching TV and literally had a stroke watching what was unfolding before her eyes.
Yeah.
And ended up in the hospital. And she didn't make it. Yeah. So, yeah, he has more to answer for than just what you knew.
Jesus.
Yeah, but it's a really...
Wow. That's really how that happened.
That's not a bullshit story. That's quite literally what happened. She was in front of the TV watching the results come up, and she had a stroke watching it.
It was a fucking national tragedy that happened.
Yeah.
So I can't say.
And that's why her family and everybody made sure that they put that was in her obituary. Like, she watched the elections and it basically killed her because she didn't want to be here for that shit. Yeah.
But so anyway, so a couple years later in 2017, or the next year in 2017, they finally put the album out that she recorded, knowing it was going. She knew it was probably going to be her last, but she put everything into it, and she sounds great on it. Like, you listen to that record, you don't know she's sick. It's just like a really great new Sharon Jones album. And one of my favorite songs of hers is on this album. It's called "Searching for a New Day," and I loved the song right away when I heard the album. Well, a couple months later, they were reshooting a video for the song at Union Pool.
Oh, Union Pool.
At Union Pool, and it's kind of like a story video where they have like the setting at the club where people are watching videos of Sharon performing, and it's this little girl who comes in with her mom and sees Sharon Jones on the screen and becomes transfixed. And I'm not going to give away the whole video, but so our friend Addis Clopton and me were in this video. We saw that. I just saw that this was happening. Like, show up at this date at this place and be in the Sharon Jones video. So I went, and Addis was there.
Oh, freak out!
And we're in this video. So if you go, I'll have the link below. It's Sharon Jones "Searching for a New Day," and it's a really great video, and it's a great song, and yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Well, you knew about us being in that video.
I've totally forgot about that.
I thought you knew.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have the link so you can
Shout
look
out
at
to Addis.
Okay, but my number one. All right, my number one is Shilpa Ray. Door Girl. Let me go up close so they can get it without a
glare.
Without a glare. Yeah, Shilpa Ray, Door Girl. Now, this is my favorite Shilpa Ray album. This was also her latest when I got hip to her, but easily her best one as far as I'm concerned. She used to work the door at pianos.
Oh, no shit.
Hence the title.
Oh.
In fact, I believe this is actually her in front of pianos on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about going to that Charles Bradley show at pianos that was a kind of an industry insider record release show. I'm not sure. I think she may have been working. I think she may have been the door person at that show. I'm thinking back in my mind's eye to the woman who let us in. I think it was her. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
That's crazy.
Anyway, but she. Let me put this back up here. Shilpa Ray is fucking amazing. Okay, she's a great local. She's here. She's a Brooklyn based artist. She's actually from New Jersey, but. Like I said before, she's one of my she and Young Gun Silver Fox are my two favorite current artists. But she's stylistically, I'm going to start reading now. She's stylistically versatile. She's lyrically clever and funny. She's an intrepid, fun, and badass performer. She's amazing live. Now I'm going to read a little thing here from Wikipedia. Her music has been compared to Blondie, The Cramps, and Screaming Jay Hawkins, and her singing has been compared to the style of Patti Smith, Nick Cave, and Ella Fitzgerald. She has a lot of different kinds of stuff. Ray is notable for combining an Indian harmonium with a big-voiced blues rock howler vocal approach, and has been known to sing in styles ranging from metal to balladry, to the balladry of Leonard Cohen. But yeah, anyway, yeah, she has a lot of different kinds of stuff. I mean, the first song will be kind of like a girl group kind of song. The second song will be like a reggae song. And then she'll have like a fucking hip hop song, and then the fourth song will be like straight up like cutthroat punk rock. But it all works. Like she is able to do all these things, and it doesn't sound like some mishmash that's unfocused. It all sounds like her.
Okay.
It's really she's really really great, and yeah. So check out Shilpa Ray and Door Girl. All right. So there you go, and that's my list. We'll be right back after these messages.
Wow.
Get Taylor Swift now, only from AT&T, and see what Taylor's doing now. Like now, she's entering the studio. Now she's getting ready to record. Now she's tuning up her guitar. Now she sees Olivia. Now she's petting Olivia. Now she's feeling a little hungry. Now she's walking down the hall. Now she's bumped by Andy Samberg. Now she's like, watch it. Now he's like, you watch it. Now she's saying, whatever, Andy Sam jerk. Now they're having a stare down. Now they're having a thumb war. Now they're competing as caricature artists. Now they're having an unbelievable choreographed fight sequence. Now they're fighting in slow motion. Now Andy is asking for a timeout to catch his breath. Now Andy is flying through the wall. Now Taylor's feeling hungry again. Now she's rummaging through the mini fridge. Now she sees some cookie dough. Now she's eating some cookie dough. Now she's hiding in a closet from the guy whose cookie dough she just ate. Now she's locked in that closet. Now she's climbing through an air duct. Now she's back in the studio. Now she's ready to play. Now here's a new song. Now we're out of time. But now you can watch exclusive behind-the-scenes and other videos on Taylor Swift now, only from AT&T, and pre-order Reputation today.
All right, we're back.
Oh yeah.
All right. And what are we doing now? We doing our Tommy. Is it Tommy's turn?
Yeah, it's my turn.
It is your turn.
I have narrowed my list down to only 2 albums for 2017.
You had to cut out all the other albums that you initially
Cut out
had.
all the stuff that I initially had on there, and I was like, Paul's going to talk about all that stuff.
Right, yes.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah. And they're both Tommy Core albums.
Oh. Okay.
Well, see, yeah, there you go. Well, see, that all makes sense now.
Okay.
I have 2 Tommy Core albums, and the first one, number 2, is Dragon Force with Reaching Into Infinity. And the next one, and I've seen in the comments some people have been jazzed that I've been bringing up this band, and that would be Across the Line by Air Raid, and this is the most badass Air Raid record. This is the one. This is the one. Yeah, this record fucks.
Well, I've been seeing in the comments, I can tell that this is one of those bands that not many people know, but those who know all kind of look at each other and go,
yo, Air Raid though, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I still haven't listened to it. You were talking about it before, and I haven't listened. So
check out this record. It's fucking cool, man. It's cool.
Oh, all right.
All right.
And that's it. 1 minute and 45 seconds. That's how you do
that's
it.
A record.
That's how you do it. How long was your segment? 19 and a half minutes?
Well, as per usual with this era, I have
Paul is
to
carrying-
create content for the episodes.
He's carrying that weight.
You're carrying.
A long time. All right, tell you what. This is what we're gonna do.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna spare you another 2017 commercial. We're gonna go right into
Let's
our
just
hate
go
list.
right into the hate
All
list.
right.
Let's go right
Let's
into
do
it.
Is
it.
it me?
Yeah.
It's you.
It's me. Is it me? Is it you? It is you. Okay, 2017. Oh, here we go. All right. So, I got some questions.
Questions? Question marks.
Deep Purple? Robin Hitchcock?
Robin Hitchcock.
Procol Harum? Blondie? Robin Trower?
Oh God.
Paul Weller? Warrant? They put out records in 2017.
It's hard to believe that they had the,
Yeah.
that somebody thought that was a good idea to do a Warrant record without Janie Lane. It's ridiculous.
I don't know. So here are my three worst. Coming in at number 3 is Michael Bolton, Songs of Cinema.
Oh.
So he sings songs from movies, title songs from movies like Stand By Me and Heard It Through the Grapevine and Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Heard through the grapevine. Oh come on.
Yeah. And you know how great yeah.
I can hear him now, and I've never heard the track.
Yeah, you don't need to. And then, rearing their ugly head once again is King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard.
You know, you say that differently every time, I think.
I know,
As
because
you should.
every time I'm shocked that I keep seeing them. And I do listen to 2 songs off of each record because that's all I can take. But my number 1 of the worst is Ladies and Gentlemen, Bare Naked Ladies and the Persuasions. Do you know about this?
No, you are going to have to explain this.
Okay, so this is a collaboration between Bare Naked Ladies and the soul group The Persuasions.
Okay.
So, yeah. So this was released April 14th in 2017. And it's 14 reworked songs from the Bare Naked Ladies back catalog, plus a cover of Good Times by The Persuasions.
Was this a result of like a lawsuit or something?
After playing 2 songs together...
Is this part of a settlement
They
agreement?
should have caused the lawsuit. They should have brought
No,
on
they
one.
played 2 songs together here in New York City at the Lost Summer on Earth 2016 tour. Like, I don't know why the Persuasions would show up to sing with Bare Naked Ladies on their tour, but they did. And both parties agreed. Both parties agreed that they would like to collaborate. And this was a 2-day session that they put this album together. Now, it's 2017. So obviously, it's not all the real original Persuasions. But like the legacy acts, you know, it's get some other black guy in there who can sing the part, and they do it.
It's like a platter situation. basically.
Platters and spinners and you name it.
Right.
Four top, blah, blah, blah.
How is it that they're all 30? I don't understand.
I don't get
they
it.
age so well.
But this thing, like, yeah, so obviously, due to my morbid curiosity, as Paul would say, I had to listen to it. And boy, am I sorry that I listened to it. Because it is exactly what you're thinking. Why would you take an incredible classic group like the Persuasions and conflate them with the Bare Naked Ladies? I don't know. And I'm questioning they decided to make a collaboration after this one-off at the show. But it exists, and there it is. And it's terrible.
Well, let's see how high this is on Papa Nick's list, because I know he likes the Bare
Bare
Naked
Naked
Ladies.
Ladies, he does, yeah.
I'd be interested to hear what he thinks.
I'm sure he'll come at me in the
well,
comments. And that's
alright.
fine, Nick. Come at me. It's good.
All right. Well, so my worst of the year. Oh, I do. I have a question mark myself. I have a question. Album. Night Ranger?
Night Ranger. Wow, I
Night
missed
Ranger.
them. Wow.
Yes. It's an album called Don't Let Up.
And they should have.
Obviously pitch corrected vocals, and they're trying desperately. I will give them credit. They're doing what Bon Jovi refuses to do, and they're definitely trying to make a Night Ranger album. They're not trying to sound alternative or like they're definitely going for a Night Ranger album, but still.
But they're missing it. Huh?
No, they're not hitting the All right. But I have one. I just have one. And yeah, this is a group. Oh, it's a duo called Moonshine Bandits, with an album called Baptized in Bourbon.
Okay, that's enough. I don't need to hear any more.
The genre is listed as country rap.
Well, that's a wrap, folks.
All right,
No, 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 no.
next time. But
Oh, no.
wait.
No?
This is the album I texted about. I said I found something that's just...
Oh,
Remember, I
yeah,
texted
yeah.
these guys and I said, boy, did I just find something. This is it. Okay. Basically, it's the worst kind of bro country, which somehow also seems to think it's hip-hop. I'm pretty sure there's some Kid Rock DNA in this shit. In this shit sandwich. But,
Has to be.
Okay, there's a track entitled Red, White, and Blue Collar.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. This record is the very sound of voting for Trump. If the act of voting for Trump had a soundtrack album, this would be it. This is it. I'm telling you.
Wow.
If you could just imagine, I thought about that. What would country rap sound like? And then I played it, and it's like, yeah, no, this is what I fucking imagined. Okay, what I'm gonna do here, you guys?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a cut in the video, but I'm going to play just a snippet of 3 choice tracks for these guys. So we're gonna come back, and you're gonna see these guys after having heard this. Okay, so we'll just do it with everything on, and I'll cut it out.
Yeah. All right.
Whoa.
Okay, first of all, you're welcome to use just the video of our reactions in real time. You can cut the audio if you want.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that what is the album cover? Is it a Blue Lives Matter flag on the fucking album cover?
Yeah, it's just these couple of dudes sitting there with.
This is the soundtrack of Truck Nuts, the fucking musical. I mean, Jesus Christ,
Truck
dude.
Nuts the musical.
The musical.
Here you go. Here's the cover.
Yeah, of course, that's what these fucking guys look like. Of course, it is.
You'll see it here.
Yeah, you guys already saw it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so...
This is everything that's wrong with this country now. At this point,
in one album.
In one fucking album.
Yeah. Yeah.
That album makes me want to move to Europe.
This to me is, as my cousin Jean would say, the epitome of complete insanity when it comes to white people and racism.
God damn.
So, you hate black people, you hate our culture, but yet you rip it off time and time again. You try to shoehorn your craziness into it, and I guarantee you that this is the music that is played at strip clubs in the middle of nowhere on their hip hop night.
Of course it is. This, you know what this is? This is a perfect embodiment of seeing some fucking redneck driving around in a lifted pickup truck with a humongous Confederate flag draped out the back, but blasting thug rap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
God,
Well,
I hate
because he
this.
ain't racist.
I hate this so much, Paul.
Yes, it's really, really
I hate
awful.
everything that every emotion this brings up. I hate it.
I was floored when I found this. I mean, just reading about it floored me, and then when I listened to it, it was worse than I even thought.
It's a modern day chorale.
It's a fucking minstrel show, is what this is.
basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Yeah.
What I said during the music was playing, I said, go listen to it. This is what Kid Rock wishes he could do right now.
Yeah.
It's fucking musical blackface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what this is. This is 100 times worse than Iggy Azalea any day of the fucking week.
Wow.
So there you go.
Thanks, Paul.
Wow, and I gotta follow that. God, we should have changed the order.
Well,
Thunder
remember,
stolen
and
yet
I
again.
told them when I texted them and said, I found something that might be the worst thing I have ever found for the worst of lists.
It's pretty, yeah.
And yeah.
And by the way, anybody out there that's a Trump supporter and is offended by this, fuck off. Anyway,
Yeah.
my worst of the year for 2017, The Darkness with Pinewood Smile. Oh my God, did these guys disappoint me.
Oh.
They disappointed me so bad. So The Darkness, I love The Darkness. I really, really, truly do. And, I love the debut. And, the follow-up was difficult at first, but I came to love that so much. And then they regrouped, and I really love the comeback album. And, the one after that was decent. But every one of the Darkness albums would have at least a moment when you're like, oh God, at least the whole album isn't like that.
That's a whole album.
Unfortunately, this album, Pinewood Smile, is a whole album of that.
Of just that,
Of the things that I don't like about this band. It was a whole album of that shit. I mean, from start to finish, there's not a good track on here. And I'm like, God damn it. And normally I'd be like, okay, fuck it, who cares? But I was so disappointed by this. So disappointed I couldn't let him off. I couldn't give him a pass.
That's a bummer.
Right. Well, now, is that their most recent album?
No, they've had 2 more since then.
Okay, we'll find out later how they fared on those albums.
Yeah.
What happens after?
Yeah. So that's my worst of the year.
Wow.
All right. Well,
God, what a segment this was. Jeez.
It took a dark turn. It took a darky turn.
Oh! She can say that. She probably still shouldn't, but she can.
But I can.
We definitely need to cleanse. We need to cleanse now. Here we go.
I don't drink much, and I never will. You asshole.
All right, well, there you go. That was 2017. That was 2017.
Ooh, Joe.
But of course, as is usual, before we get out of here, we are going to have a little bit of
Vintage Photo Time!
All right, so here's Crystal in 2017, and she says, "This is when I somehow became the face of New York City's city bike ads. I have absolutely no memory of how I got booked for this. I do remember being told that it would be indoors, but when I got there, everything changed, and I wound up riding around between the Lower East Side and the Battery for 9 hours with 6 other people. I could barely walk when I got home, so I soaked in a tub with boiling hot water and enough Epsom salt to make me float. I had no idea if I would make the cut to be featured or if when they would go up. I found out via text from friends who saw it. It stayed up for a year and occasionally pops up to this day. Thanks again, New York City." Alright, so this is me in 2017 singing with the band Pretties For You NYC at Good Records in Dallas, Texas, owned by Chris Penn, who was the guy who managed to get the original Alice Cooper group to do a surprise reunion at his store in 2015. Well, this is in the same place, on the same stage, on the same AstroTurf, and we played the Pretties For You album live in its entirety. Dennis Dunaway from the Alice Cooper group was there, and he stepped up on stage with us to play the encore. Left to right, we have Nick Tchaikovsky on guitar, that's me on vocals, Glenn Johnson on drums, the great Dennis Dunaway on bass, and Max Johnson on guitar. Alright, so here we have Tommy in 2017 in his Amblin Productions t-shirt. And, well, Tommy is quite the BMX bike enthusiast, and he has quite a collection of vintage bikes. And he says, "This is me throwing out blue steel with my 1984 Hutch Pro Racer somewhere in Brooklyn." Alright, so that is Crystal and me and Tommy in 2017. Alright, so there you go. That was us in 2017. And this is us in 2024. Getting the hell out of here. But hey, thank you for subscribing if you have. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. If you do, click the little bell, click notifications. But come back next week because we're going to be doing something else. Actually, I just realized we don't know what we're doing next week.
Yeah.
Well, basically, we're not going to be doing 2018 next week. We're going to be doing something else that we haven't yet
figured out.
But by the time I edit this, I will know, so you will have seen it down here.
Which means you're going to get the scoop.
So you know before we do.
We do, yeah.
Whoa!
We won't know until this airs.
How crazy is that?
Have no idea.
Yeah, welcome to the future. All right, we will see you guys next week.
Oh, bye.
Vintage Photo Time!
Wait, didn't you change the name, though? Didn't you change it to, like, recently?
No, that was me fucking around on the debut.
Oh, right.
It was, yeah, it was just me joking around and it didn't land, so.
Oh, okay. Vintage Photo Time!
Vintage Photo Time.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody, give it up for Vintage Photo Time.
Yeah, vintage sexual chocolate.
Damn, that boy good.
Good and terrible. Best movie ever.
All right, so there you go. That was us in 2017. You ready?
Ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Yes, we're ready.
Yes.
2, 1. Well, all right.